weeks ago. I think you're in for a treat. Let's make him feel welcome. Randy Heath.
I have to say this before Don goes. Don's got to go, and I wish him safe travels, but it took me a while to really figure out why I was asked to speak today. At some point, somebody figured out I was the only person stupid enough to jump up on the stage right after him. Don has been one of my mentors for years, and has been a great help to me in all that I've done. I want to talk to you today about kind of what we've done in Salisbury, but I want you to keep one thing in mind. I'm not here to talk about Salisbury. I'm going to do that, but I'm not here to talk about Salisbury. What I'm here to talk about today is the things that we have done and the way that we show and share, the story that we share with our elected officials, with those people that say, you're communist if you want to put in a historic district. These are the things that we share with them and the way that we tell our story of our programs and the way that we ensure that we continue to have funding for our programs. Just a little bit about where we are. Since I've run into people here today, I've probably been asked a couple dozen times, well, where's Salisbury? Well, there's Salisbury. We are about halfway between Greensboro, Winston, and Charlotte. We're in the Piedmont area. It's interesting. We're a city of 32,000. We do not have a river. We do not have a mountain range like Asheville. Quite frankly, we don't have any spectacular natural features. What we have in Salisbury is a bunch of old buildings. And we've got a bunch of them, and we've done what we could over the years to preserve those. So I thought it would be good to, where we are, to give you a little definition of who we are in Salisbury as preservationists. And I don't know if any of you have one of these. You see, this is the Webster's Old Preservation Dictionary. If you buy one of these, make sure you get the old one. The new version is no good. We all know that as preservationists. We want the old version. So how does the Preservation Dictionary define Salisbury? Salisbury, a noun, North Carolina city of 32,000 residents, founded in 1753 at the intersection of the Great Pennsylvania Wagon Road and Catawba Cherokee Indian Trading Path. An oasis of civility and good design in the Piedmont area of North Carolina between the elitist sprawl to the northeast and southwest on the I-85 corridor. I could say this when I'm out of state. Contains 10 National Register districts with 1,280 contributing properties, 5 local historic districts with 966 properties, and we've been in Main Street since 1980. I will also say, gentleman in here commenting about the local historic district, that even though we've been in preservation as long as we have, in 2001 we decided that we needed a local historic district in our downtown. We spent a year to put this in place. We actually got about 15 people in the community and spent a year having them individually go talk to people that own property to convince them this is the right thing to do. Our Chamber of Commerce, another thing I can say since I'm not in my own state, went to the Chamber of Commerce and said, we'd really like, this is preservation, it's what we do as a community, we'd really like your support. And the reply was, that's more regulation. We can't support that. Well, since we adopted that in 2001, and we put all that terrible regulation on people, we've had $55 million worth of development in our little town. And I like to point that out to the chamber director, who doesn't think it's economic development. We all fight the same battles in our communities. As long as we've been doing it, we continue to fight those same battles. when we think of economic development, and Main Street, most of us think of statistics in North Carolina. We have to turn in our statistics yearly. Are you all like that in Mississippi? If you don't turn in your statistics, you're not eligible for the grants that they have, and you're generally considered a leper and an outcast. So, we're all about statistics. But I'll say this, probably some of the most well-received facts that we present in our community are not really statistics, but simple facts about how we've implemented our master plan and what we've done since 2001. I'll tell you this, when we were in the throes of doing our first master plan in 2001, we have a Chinese restaurant downtown, and walked into the restaurant with our consultant that was doing our master plan. Obviously, at the end of the deal, we all know what we get, Fortune 50. By the way, our North Carolina Downtown Development Association one year passed those out to the League of Municipalities, and everyone said, your future's in downtown development. But anyway, we get our fortune cookies, and our consultant gets his fortune cookie, and it says, your future is in your past. How appropriate is it that that was the focus of our whole master plan, was preservation? There were 7 goals in that plan, and I want to just show these to you, a few of them briefly, so that, and I'm not going to read this, but so you'll understand that, this looks like a really esoteric thing to say we want to make our community a place to experience history, or a place of business, a place to live. But the truth is, these were broken down into some very specific steps that we undertook, and we completed those, we tracked them. And in essence, that's the way that we tell our story, through the master plan and through the projects that we've done. This is the same building. A lot of people don't realize it. There's a guy in our community named Jim Dunn that was kind of one of the fathers of preservation. And Jim used to say, talking about the preservation dictionary, the difference, the definition of bad architecture. Has anybody ever heard the layman's definition of bad architecture? When you take a picture and you can turn it upside down, you really can't tell that it's upside down. It's probably bad architecture. That's what we have here on the right, and that's our after. But when people start to see these projects, and we talk about jobs, we talk about, this was actually an $8 million development in our community, where a bank headquarters came in and it created 50 jobs. People start to see the projects, they start to understand the statistics when you get to the end. This is another project, and we put these on our master plan. And the point here is that we wanted to show people the things that have been going on in a really nice way. And I'll also tell you that my committee, when we were doing this, and we did the 2010 plan in-house, and we're showing what's happened since the first plan in 2001. I'm laying it out. We're actually doing this in committee, and people start to look at the pictures, and they'll say, that before picture's good. And then they'll say, did you take that after picture? They told me I could take the before pictures, but I cannot take the after pictures. The before pictures we want to look bad, so they allowed me to take all those. But we did have professional photographers take the after pictures. So when people see these projects, they understand the investment and the statistics. And actually, the statistics become more memorable. They start to put the pieces of the puzzle together. We all know that these changes occur so slowly over time that people have a hard time understanding the changes. This is one of the things that was in our master plan in our entertainment district. And people forget how bad some of our buildings look. This is our pool hall on the right-hand side. If you can read that, it says Friendly Cue. I never understood why it was Friendly Cue, because the things you would read in the paper about it were how people were taking cues and hitting each other over the head and having fights, but it was named a friendly cue nonetheless. But today, people understand 250-seat auditorium and a $3 million renovation, and they start to add the numbers up when we show them these things. So we put on the back side of our plan a whole page of the renovations that have occurred since the previous plan, just to make sure that they, were cognizant of the things that we've done over the years. But there were a number of concepts in our plan. Most people think plans, you do them, they sit on the shelf, nothing ever happens. When we did this plan, one of the things that we put in it was an entertainment district in this block. People now understand that that was a planned activity. The reason we have an entertainment district is because we put it in the plan and we made it happen. We had a $700,000 streetscape in this block with brick streets. We have additional restaurants. We have a second theater because it was part of our master plan. One of the things that was in our plan, much like we've seen here today on the tour, an arts district. I wish I could tell you a lot of thought went into this. We were in committee and one of our local architects said, we've got 2 whole blocks of vacant warehouse. I don't know what we could do with it. Let's label it arts district and see what happens. So that was pretty much the extent of our market research, and I can say that now that Don's gone without embarrassment. But 10 years later, people in our community understand we have 2 art co-ops. We have 25 artists. We have a black box theater in this district, and we have a second theater that's about to go under construction. It's all because it was part of the plan, and we began to fill in the pieces of the plan over time. And people in our community understand now the value of planning these things. One of the things that was in our master plan, we have a local soft drink, Cheerwine. If you came to our community, you could not tell anything about Cheerwine in our community. You would not know that that was our local soft drink. And our plan actually said, you need to have a place for visitors to experience your local soft drink. So our drugstore built an old-fashioned soda fountain. You can buy Cheerwine fudge, umbrellas, golf bags, clocks, everything Cheerwine now. And it's one of those places that when the Turner Network does their movies thing, they come and they film here, and we get lots of publicity from it. But it was in our master plan. Residential units, I said one of the things in the plan was a place to live. We've actually added 40. We track the number of residential units that are added into our downtown every year. That's not required in our statistics, but we track it and we tell people about it. And people were amazed because there's 2 here over a building, there's 1 here. But when you say, look, we've added 40 units since 2001, most people are surprised. And it also helps to explain tax value. When I tell people, well look, our press building was vacant, 2nd floor, it's about 5,000 square feet. Well, stop and think about it. Now it's got 5 residential units in it that are valued at close to $200,000 a piece. There's $1 million worth of tax base that was completely underutilized, and they began to understand the importance of what was in the plan and why we've done it. Streetscape was in our plan, obviously. We had a really terrible gateway going up to our downtown. It's probably the same in every state. That if you want to do something nice with your streetscape and it's on a state-maintained road, is there anybody from the state transportation department here? Just want to make sure. It's like this, and I think in every community, that you have to fight with them to do something that looks halfway decent. They told us you can't build this bridge. This is not the standard NCDOT bridge. You must build this bridge. And we persisted, and we spent a little more money, and we got the bridge that was in our plan. One of the things that was in our plan was creating more good retail in our downtown, to attract more good retail. We had an epiphany one day in a meeting that we've tried to recruit better quality recruit to retail because, quite frankly, we didn't have any good spaces to recruit to. You know, it's hard to talk a quality retailer into going into a really cruddy space. So we decided if the market would not create that space, we would. So over a period of years, we purchased and revolved 10 buildings that brought in 10 businesses. We actually had people, this is pre-economic meltdown, we actually had people competing for the buildings. We would accept proposals. If you wanted to buy that building from us, you would give us a proposal, you'd give us a business plan. If you didn't have a business plan, don't even come talk to us. And over a period of years, we were able to attract some really great retailers into our downtown. And it's shocking if you think about your downtown, the difference that 2 or 3 or 4 really good retailers make in downtown. You know, if you only get a few that really, really know what they're doing, it changes the landscape of the whole downtown. And today, we're 95% occupied in our downtown. There were things in our plan, like this canopy at our railroad station. This first appeared as an idea in our master plan, and it was implemented. And that was, you know, people begin to understand that's about $1 million investment. And I do have to tell people that was state money. Don't go call the mayor after this meeting. That was state money. One of the great things that happened because of our master plan that was an investment downtown was our police department. We went during the process, we interviewed the police chief. The very first thing the chief said was, you know, you're wasting your time talking to me because we're moving out of the downtown. Well, why? Well, because we don't have enough room in the building that we're in, and they were in the building. It's up here in the upper right-hand corner. And Mississippi Preservationists probably have the same term that we do for this. But we call those buildings that were built in the 70s, that is the style phony colony. That style. Doesn't appear in too many of the architecture books, but that's obviously what it is. But we told the chief, why don't we wrap this inappropriate building with an appropriate building? So the building that you can see, you can actually see it in the plan, the police station, the existing building in the box, and it was wrapped with a new building, and they were able to stay in place. And stop and think about the several $100,000 worth of new land that we didn't have to go out and buy, and the existing space that we continue to use, all because we had a good plan in place and we followed that plan. So what does it add up to over time? This is where we are. About 117 million, about 55 million since 2001, which was when we did the first master plan, and when we did that terrible communistic historic district that was going to stop development. Over 1,000 jobs net gained since 1980 and 313 net businesses, new businesses. So that's good. That's all good stuff. But what is the impact of all this? And I think this is where it gets kind of interesting. Let me show you one other thing quickly before I get to that. We also explain that we're third. We tell our city council that we're third in the state in retail sales per capita. You know, and